Hey, Spartan fans, welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion, and we're now under a week away from Michigan State's home opener against Western Michigan, August 29th. And on one hand, I can't believe that it's almost already here. On the other, it has felt like a really long off season, and it kind of does feel like it's about time for football to be here. We've been talking so much about this Michigan State team, and there's so many questions surrounding it. I feel like though the optimism, I talked about it before, the vibes are very high with this team. I feel like the optimism has been raising, especially as we get closer from what we've been hearing out of fall camp. I think a lot of fans are hoping that this or are feeling like this will be an improved team, and I think they're right. I think this will be. Comes off a 5-7 season. It's now in its second year of this regime, and I feel like they're, not scrambling as much to get things implemented, to get adjusted. I think this is a more comfortable staff. It's settled in, obviously. It's got a year under its belt now, and now you can focus solely on football. And I think that's what this program has done this offseason. And they've had the fortune of working with a lot of guys that they had last year, like Aidan Childs, like Nick Marsh, like Jack Velling, like some guys on defense, Malik Spencer, Nakai Frazier, Alex Van Sumeren, Jordan Hall, Jalen Thompson, you name it. There's a lot of returners and guys who had promising 2024 seasons, but now the question is, can they build on that? And um, I think if they're able to, that's going to determine a lot about where this team ends up by the end of the year. But there's some areas that need to be improved. We look at some of the more alarming ones, like getting to the quarterback, the rush game on defense. Um, Really, most of the offense, pass game, run game, offensive line, just kind of Aiden Childs in general. But there's one key area I think will be the biggest improvement for Michigan State. And I think it's going to be a huge reason that this team does improve, and it's the run game. I mean, you need a good run game to be able to excel offensively. Run opens up the pass, and you need to be able to hurt teams on your feet. And Michigan State, I think, will be able to do that. This, these last few years, I mean, ever since Kenneth Walker, this team has not been able to get an effective, consistent run game together. And it's surprising considering the history of Michigan State running backs, the great running backs that have come through this program, the success they've had on the ground in the past. Haven't had that since that 21 season. And now here you are. You've got a running back room that doesn't have a lot of experience. You've got Elijah Tautover. I've talked about it before. He's got experience. He had success at Sacramento State, but that was Sacramento State. There's a big step up. There's a big leap you're taking, even though you're a veteran and you have experience. You got to adjust to this level of play. And then you've got Brandon Tollis and Makai Frazier, two guys who each only had 7 carries apiece last season, um, so far at all in their college careers. So experience, where does that all come into play? Do they have enough there? I've also said that it really doesn't matter to me who comes out as number one in this running back battle because ultimately it's going to come down to the offensive line. And I also think it's going to be a running back by committee approach. But I do think that this is an improved offensive line. I think they, number one, just, X's and O's aside, I think this is just a hungrier group. I think they're determined to really be the anchor of this offense. And in turn, the team as a whole, even the guys who are new, I think that they've taken it upon them. I mean, they said they have that they've taken it upon themselves. They understand the responsibility, um, and they're embracing it. And Coach McCullough, he's He's a tough one. I mean, he's a great guy off the field, a great guy in general. Very, very nice, down to earth guy. But he'll chew you out on the field, and he'll hold you accountable, and he'll make you work for your starting job, no matter who you are. So there's always that element of competition in that room. Every room uh, in on this team has that. The staff, emphasizes that big time competition, 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 and especially with the offensive line room. And so I think they're all pushing each other to be great. Um, and then just looking at the actual guys who are in that room, you've got a deep room, first off. Um, and that's big because your body's gonna be going through it. So you gotta be able to, sub guys in and out, get a breath, get a breather, um, and be able to sub the next guy in, whether that be a series or two or, every few reps or so, whatever. As far as who they brought in through the transfer portal, all experienced guys, all, really solid linemen. Connor Moore from Montana State was probably their best portal acquisition. Luka Vincic, who has experience with the staff, that familiarity is there. He was at Oregon State. Got Matt Goldwyn, likely to be your center. Um, he's a captain on this team, a leader, and I think he's going to be huge for this offensive line. So, you know, I think they're going to be improved, and because of that, I think the run game's going to be improved. Um, and I said, even though I said there's not much experience there in that backfield, there is a lot of talent, and I do think they'll be able to throw to some of these guys. Jonathan Smith really liked what he saw from this squad, from this group in the scrimmages, especially scrimmage two. He specifically named Tullis and Frazier as two guys who stood out in that second scrimmage. So, um, it's really sounding like this run game has taken a step forward, and I think that's going to continue into the season. I'm really eager to see if it does because that's going to be a huge factor and if Michigan State's able to find success this season and make a bowl game at the very least. So, run game. That's this team's gonna only go as far as its run game takes it, I think. That and as good as Aiden Childs is this season. I think those are two key things. Defense will do its thing. I said there were moments that well, more than just moments, but there were a lot of times this defense was solid last year. I think it's only going to become more consistent this year. I think being healthy, if they're able to, that's going to help a lot. But offensively is really where you're going to see this team kind of turn the corner, however well this offense is able to do this year. So, um, we'll see. We'll see how much of this is evident week one against Western Michigan. And yeah, like I said, less than a week away. The countdown has started. So hope you're excited. Um, and hope you're all having a great weekend. As always, you can find all of our content on Michigan State Spartans on SI, giving you tons of daily content. You don't want to miss it. Keeping you up to date on your beloved Spartans. We love doing it. We hope you love reading it and following along with us. Again, hope you're having a great weekend, and I will talk to you all next time. Thank you.